Welcome everybody. I am beyond excited for tonight. For the first time ever in the short history of Chase Tag, we're going to sit down with every athlete competing this weekend in the first ever US qualifier, more specifically the West Coast qualifier. So a lot of firsts tonight. If you're not aware of the planning, basically, can we have the planning please? This weekend, this Saturday, it's going to be the West Coast qualifier happening in the Momentum gym. So it's going to be 5 teams competing on Saturday. These are the times where you can watch the stream. It means that, you know, it's going to be 9 p.m. if you're in London, 10 p.m. if you're in Paris, etc. We're going to have 5 teams that are Apex Moon, Apollo, which is a rebranding of Olo, Schedule 1, a brand new team, Tempest and Vanguard. I'm super excited because all of these teams are going to be here tonight with us. And the following week, which means the week on the 3rd and 4th of May, we're going to have the East Coast qualifier. It's going to be with 7 teams, same format, which means round robin, but it's going to be split over 2 days of competition. We're going to have 215 coming, Dexterity Depot, Second States Conks, Nimbus, which is a rebranding of APK Blue, Nyx, Atlanta Talons, and Hero, which is a rebranding of APK Grey. So a lot of exciting teams will be there, some brand new teams, brand new players, some OG teams coming back, some of them, you know, going back to Chase Tag after a few years break. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. There is a new thing that is also quite cool. The first 2 teams of each qualifiers are going to be able to come to the final with one little advantage, which is they're going to be able to either ban a team or avoid a team during the final weekend, which will happen in the Dexterity gym this summer. And yeah, I'm curious to see how it's gonna change things, shake things up, and bring some extra strategy and spice to the team. So here tonight with us, we have Hudson, if I'm correct, captain of the brand new team Schedule 1. How are you? Oh,
I'm so excited for this weekend. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, so you guys are fairly new to the sport. You competed in December at the NITS competition, but for the people that might have not watched this competition, what's your origin story? Where did you come from? What brought you to Chase Tag, etc.?
Yeah, so actually back in 2023 at the Pan American Championships, I was competing in Ninja Warrior at the Arnold Classic, and of course, I'm there for the rest of the expo, and I noticed that they have World Chase Tag there, and I've only seen it on YouTube, like probably most people have. So it was just awesome to watch. And so
I was going to say you're coming from the bodybuilding world, and so my first question, it's quite odd. I'm not sure we had any athletes in the chase community coming from the bodybuilding world. Does it bring any kind of advantage to you? I don't know, some strength training, anything. Bro.
Other than the fact that I feel awesome when I'm on the quad, it's I'm heavier and slower, and I just look cool when I'm doing it. So
That's probably the most important part of it. Does it
right,
stop you from going between bars or something, or?
it hasn't yet. It hasn't yet. The only yeah, I haven't had any crazy mobility issues yet, but I just figure like I'm about 210 pounds right now, and I'm just not going to be as fast as I would be if I was 175. Nature of the beast. So
Okay. So what can you tell us about your teammates? Can you give us, I don't know, some details about each of them?
yeah, for sure. So when I started this team, I went to all my kind of athletic friends and I was like, guys, we have to start a World Chase Tag team. This is the coolest thing ever. And so Isaac and Jesse Winslow are brothers, and they were both rock climbers from Colorado. They've done a little bit of the
Okay.
Ninja Warrior stuff, but nothing crazy. And then Jesse plays volleyball as well, so not doesn't carry over to tag all that much. And then my brother Pierce is also on the team, Pierce Frederick, and he did lacrosse and a little bit of gymnastics with me growing up. And then Josiah Askell is my friend from Ninja Warrior. So I really just gathered all
Okay.
my friends that kind of like tag and thought it was cool, and we started training at a playground. So
So yeah, that was one of my questions when I did look at all of your last names. I was like, it looks like two of them are brother and two other ones are also brother, which means we have one imposter in the group, which seemed to be Josiah. But are you guys living in the same place? Are you old friends from a very long time? Um,
yeah. So funny enough, I only know Isaac and Jesse because Pierce, my brother, is dating their sister.
oh wow,
So
okay, family affairs.
yep. So that's just the way it worked out. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Isaac and Pierce
these
and I
are
have
all
a
the.
house.
No, carry on. I'm sorry. I feel like I have a little bit of a delay. I don't want to interrupt you at any point, so sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just gonna say that Pierce and Isaac and I live together. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So for the people watching at home, the graphics you just saw was the new teams coming to the competition. We have Vanguard, Second State Skunks, and Schedule One, which are three new teams. We're gonna have Vanguard as well later tonight. But yeah, so this is going to be your first official competition. What are your
Yep.
expectations for this weekend? Are you coming just to gain some experience? Are you here to win? Do you want to reach finals? Like, what's your mindset?
So here's the reality: is Apex Moon is going to be there. So we're really playing for second, if we're being honest.
Okay.
But that's the thing is, I think we're 100% capable of getting second. We've been training really hard, and I we have good chemistry, and we have a great coach, and so I like our chances. I think we're going to have a good time, and at least it's not going to be something to sneeze at for sure.
So someone from the chat called Riot Rel said that you were going to do great. That's all I can wish for you. And I heard you had a very good teacher because you started Chase Tag with Roland, right?
Yeah. So pretty much how that went down is, I have all my friends who are playing tag, but I was like, if we're gonna go compete in December, we need to get on the quad and we need a coach. We're not gonna wing it, right? So I just DM'd my favorite athlete on Instagram and I was like, hey, if I pay to come down to Atlanta and pay for you to stay with us and stuff, will you teach us how to play tag? And then he went just above and beyond and like made a whole curriculum and really
Oh
really
wow.
showed us the ropes. So beyond just like the moves. It's like, what's the strategy? What kinds of things are you looking to do when you're on the quad? Where do you want to go? How do you want to pin the evader? That kind of thing. So
Okay.
super helpful. And yeah, very grateful to roll in for that.
And so, is it the only time you were able to train on the quad? Did you have access to any other quads at some point? Did you have a second weekend with Roland?
Yeah, we went and trained originally in September. That's when we went down the first time. Competition in December, and then before this comp, we actually went back down in March. Just got another weekend in. So
Okay.
yeah, really thankful to Dara down at the Knicks Quad for letting us hang out.
Okay. So the December comp, you played against like good team. Dexterity was there. I'm quite sure Atlanta was there. Nimbus was there for sure. I mean, Dexterity had two teams. You also had some players from Hollywood with the Kai teams. He was playing with Gabe and his sister and Carson. What did you get from this weekend? Did you feel like you could reach the top level? You just needed a little bit of training, or was it, I don't know, quite harsh for you guys?
Yeah. So something I tell people when they ask is there's no amateur tag. It'd be like, I guess in America, high school football and then going straight to the NFL. It's you're throwing straight into it. So um, it was hard, and it definitely highlights our weaknesses very quickly. It was like, oh, these are areas where clearly we didn't practice enough. But at the same time, I got an evasion, my first chase ever against Nico,
There you go.
and which
Okay.
is that's something. That's something. So I think that as far as like basics and kind of getting an understanding of the game, it was really helpful. And we weren't. Well, we did get crushed by a couple teams. It wasn't. It wasn't embarrassing. It looked like we kind of
Hmm.
knew at least what we were doing. And I think now with a little more refinement, um, yeah, we'll look a lot better
Yeah.
this go around.
I think for a new team you did quite well. I remember organizing a couple of competitions in Europe where new teams were just being destroyed, like 6-0s or 7-0s. I don't remember your performance being, that bad. So hopefully you're going to be able to give us some good matches. Is there any team, if we remove Apex, because you told us that you don't think you're going to be able to beat Apex, is there any other team you would like to face, or you're especially excited to face this weekend, and that you think you can beat?
I think all the matches will be close, honestly. But I think that we have the potential to beat everybody. The
Okay,
the
that's good.
the teams that I'm like the most worried about, to be perfectly honest, is definitely Tempest. No
Okay.
shade to anybody else, but they're veterans. They've been doing it longer, and they have Cup of Joe and Hunter Mendoza. So as far as like in the speed parkour world, those guys are
Mm,
weapons. So
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna
Um,
be fun. I think we got a chance, but it's gonna be a hard match for sure.
is there? They're gonna be with us a little bit later tonight. Is there any message you would like to give them? Any threats? Anything?
Oh, how about I'm just hoping they underestimate us a little bit. You know?
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. The monkey chaser is asking you if Roland did reveal his secrets for the reverse goat to you guys.
I wish. We were not advanced enough for the reverse goat. We were still trying to get like speed volts under the mountain. That was kind of the
Okay.
level we were at. But
Hey, look, you have to start somewhere, and it didn't stop you from scoring an evasion. So, I'm guessing it's all you need. Um,
yes,
so
sir.
Kwatok is saying that he's glad that people from other sports are coming to Chasag, and he hope it's gonna inspire other people. I agree. I feel like it's quite new to have someone coming from, we have a lot of parkour athletes and ninja athletes, etc. But we had a couple of people coming from pole dance or other sports that are a little bit more uncommon. And so that's cool to have someone coming from the bodybuilding world. Were you competing there at the Arnold Festival? Or was it just.
So I was just competing for Ninja Warrior at the Arnold Festival. After that, I started doing more bodybuilding because my job. I'm a personal trainer, and I wanted to
Okay.
I want to look the part, of course. So, but I've got my next show will be in September. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll win this competition to go win that one too, right?
But that's good. It means that if you're training professionally, maybe it's going to help your team to have some kind of structure in the way you're, practicing chase tag and preparing for the competition. So I hope it's going to be like sorry, it's going to be useful to you. I was looking for my words. Someone is asking you if you have any declaration to make before the competition. Is there anything you would like to say to the other teams or your fans or anybody?
Let's just get more people tagging. Let's get more people chasing. If it looks fun, go give it a try. Go find a gym, get out there, go do it. It's worth it. It's fun.
Hey, that's probably the best thing you can say. If you guys are next to Atlanta, there's a quad, you can go there. There's a quad in Pennsylvania as well. I'm not sure about the city where the Dexterity Depot is, living. So if someone could tell me, that would be lovely. There's another quad at the Momentum Gym on the West Coast where the competition this weekend will happen. Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. So if you're living in Pennsylvania, go there. And Concord, California for Momentum. And yeah, if it looks fun, it's probably fun. So maybe you should go. Anyway, well, thank you for coming here. I'm gonna move on to the next guest. But yeah, I'm wishing you the best of luck this weekend. And I heard that you're still on the road to go to Momentum. So please drive safe. And see you this weekend.
Yep. Thank you, Tomas. Appreciate you.
Bye. Guys, by the way, in the chat, feel free to ask any questions at any point. I'm gonna try to read everything, but yeah, so don't be afraid to ask questions. It's cool for these guys to have feedback from you and to be able to communicate with you. So yeah. The next one, the next guest we're gonna have is Fernando from Apollo, which is kind of rebranding from Olo. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, Tomas. I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing over there?
And good. I was going to ask, like, why the rebranding? What happened to the Olo team?
So, the Olo company brand is moving towards sponsoring teams and competitions. And in order for that to happen, they can't be a full team itself because it seems like it's conflict of interests. So,
Okay.
we're just rebranding ourselves to being Apollo.
Okay. That's, well, quite simple. So now I'm wondering, because the last time you guys competed was in Pan Am's, which was 2 years ago, so quite a long time. Did you guys keep practicing after Pan Am's, or did Chase Tag take a back seat for a while?
So, the Olo team has been around since 2020, and throughout those years, it's been changing kind of ever so exponentially with other teammates and other athletes. So Pan Am's, we only had myself as an original Olo member on the team, and then Roland was there for 2021.
Yeah.
And Roland's no longer on the team, and Steve is no longer on the team. So we've had a couple of athletes move here and there, and this time around for Apollo, we had original Olo members on the team, but for unforeseen circumstances, things happen, life happens, they're unable to come across the country, or they have family opportunities, or something happens where they're not able to come. So actually the team is even smaller than what was announced for this qualifier.
Okay. So how many players are coming? Do we have the roster that we can display somewhere, if it's possible?
Pull it up, and then I'll let you know who's coming. All right. So I will be there. Luke Mizell will not be there. He's got a knee injury that he wants to be safe, and because he doesn't want to hurt us for the qualifiers. And if he does come to the qualifiers, he doesn't want to get hurt and not be able to come for the championship in Pennsylvania if we do qualify. So he's taking an easy back step. Sean Higgins is got a family emergency that's happening tomorrow. Emmett Kitson, he will be joining us. He's got his own gym, Reverend, in Middle California. Ian Weatherby, he was our backup in 2022, so he was on the quad with us, but he never competed. He was just an alternate, and he's also training with Emmett Kitson at Reverend. Gatlin Snell is another student of Emmett Kitson. He's a 16-year-old young gun who's quick and fast. He'll be competing with us as well. Gage Godolpher was a alternate for Luke Mizell. Luke Mizell picked him out from Southern California, but there were some miscommunications about the competition and things like that with details. He will unfortunately not be competing with us, so it's only a 4-man roster for the qualifier.
Okay. I would say it should be doable with only 4 people, because you're not going to play that many matches, if I'm correct. Each team is going to play 4 matches, so I'm quite sure you guys can do it. But yeah, it's going to be a lot more rough than if you had a full roster. So I was wondering, because I'm not aware of the Olo backstory, the OG team, let's say, and Apollo as well. For both these teams, were you guys from the same place training together, or was it more like a mercenary team, where you bring the best athletes from different region and everybody just come together to compete?
So the original Olo teams were like that. It was, picking Olo athletes from around the country who were interested and committed to it. This Apollo team, the rebranding team, is, now the 4-man crew, is now just California team, and basically it's myself and the 3 other guys from Reverent School of Movement in the middle of California. So it's Emick, Ian, and Gatlin, all from the same gym. And Emick is a great coach and an insane athlete, so I'm so happy that he's going to be taking the Ian and Gatlin to crush all those guys and make them speed demons.
Hey, let's go. We cannot wait to see that. A few people in the commentaries were asking about the Velociraptor gimmick that you had on the starter plate, and I actually had a question about this as well. What's the story behind that, and is it all for the show, or does it actually help you to get into the competition mood?
So I think that stance is maybe it derived from when I was in track and field days back in middle school, high school, and college, just in that starting position and just leaning forward and then accelerating right out of it from like a spring position. And I had that same position when I was on a TV show for tag a while back. And I realized that after I saw the World Chase Tag, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing the exact same poses. And it's not like I'm intentionally like I'm having that pose to intimidate. I'm just doing that because it's like I'm leaning forward, I'm getting ready to engage, I'm focusing on what I need to focus on, getting ready, and then just getting hyped.
Okay. So for words, you did a completely different job, because Olo and Apollo wasn't competing. You were the MC of the event, like the presenter. I don't know how I'm supposed to call it. How was it? Like, was it your first time in France? Did you enjoy the crowd around there? Was it a good experience for you? Like, what can you tell us about this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was my first time in France. I've been to Europe and some other countries before, but I've never been to France before, so it was my first time there. Lovely country, people there polite as somewhat can be. The language, it's weird to hear every now and then, but when I was studying it or studying the phonetics of it, I was doing pretty well with it. There were only a few things here and there where I was like, some French people were like, we don't say this vowel, we say this kind of thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I gotta go like, I gotta memorize the entire thing, like this part, it's gotta be this. I'm like, okay, cool. But I did very well, and I ended up fooling a lot of French people with my accent and my language. And people came up to me afterwards speaking French. I'm like, I don't speak French. I'm sorry.
Was it more stressful to do that job or to play?
Oh, I would say it's much more stressful to play. I've commentated for Chase Tag, and now I've done MCing for the quad MC. This is just a memorization with just the quad announcing, just making sure I know where the lines and whatnot and the cue. The only thing that was difficult was I didn't want to have something to look at, to like distract me from like the crowd or the audience or from whatever's going on. So I don't have to like look at the thing like, okay, this is what I'm going to say, like that. So the only thing that was difficult was during the comp, when the teams were like going up, like, okay, this team is blue, this team is red. Okay, this team is blue, this team is red. I'm like, okay, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. Then I would go out there and then I have to say the next thing. Then I'd be like, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh shoot, who's blue? Who's red? There was like 2 times where I messed up, but I made it work out, and it was fine with that.
Okay. So yeah, coming back to the competition of this weekend, so only 5 teams will come, and only the top three will qualify. We heard from Schedule One right before that they think Apex is going to top the competition. What are your expectations this weekend? Do you think you can win? Are you aiming for the top three? Is there any team you're afraid to face? What's your feeling about Saturday?
I think a lot of the teams share that position with Apex Moon. World champions, back to back to back, whatever they need to be, and they have their quad in the backyard of Rob Shield. He's got all the tactics and technicians for it. They do have some new members on the team, which still doesn't change my outlook of it because they're all training together at the same intense level. So I predict them at the top. With my short crew, I predict that we're going to come in either second or third, possibly fourth, depending on how the teams, level themselves up and come out of nowhere. But, when we had Pan Ams, when we had this kind of debacle of trying to find another player because Steve's was leaving and we tried to pick another person up, I feel like we shouldn't have picked another person up because our crew was so intent with how we were training and how we were focused on the competition, and we knew what we were on the line for. When we picked up another member, it was just like, I feel like the more people that are focused on the goal, the better for it. And if you bring in people that are just like, oh, out of nowhere, like 1 week, 2 weeks, because we were scrambling around for the past like a few weeks before trying to figure out how we could fill up this roster. But I feel like the people that are focused on this World Chase Tag goal will stay committed to it and have the most fun with it.
Okay, so are you thinking you're gonna end up first, second? Give us something.
Definitely not first. I
Okay.
predict Apollo either second, third, or fourth.
Okay. Okay. Okay, interesting. Is there any message you would like to, I don't know, tell to any of the teams competing this weekend or any other people?
I feel like this is going to be a lot less pressure than all the championship competitions we've had because they've been in such big venues and extravagant filming and everything like that. This is more tight knit with our local gyms, so I feel like the pressure is going to be a little bit low key. So it might get a little more intense. It might not, but I'm just going to have fun and just be fast. And Frank says, "Look where you're going, and you're golden." That's the key.
Yeah. There you go. That's all you need to to do. But do you think, because some of you guys have experienced the bigger stages, etc., do you think that experience can help you stay calm and collected during the whole competition? While for a new team, it might be stressful to, you know, be on the quad and chase already. It's quite stressful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, being competing on all those different venues and events, seeing all the bright lights and all the commentators and everything that's going on, the crowd, the cheering. Oh my goodness, it's so loud, and you're like have to focus tunnel vision on this. Whereas if you're at a local gym, it's just a small crowd, all the teams that are there, and then whoever the crew is. And I feel like it's gonna be again. I've competed at Movetum a couple of years ago for their local chase off, and did much better in some of those chases than I have in the championship matches, because one, there's local competitors who have never competed at that level of championship level, and two, it's at a smaller venue. Also, the walls, I'm not a fan of the walls. You do have
Okay.
to slow down a bit. Yeah, because I was training at the Wolf's Den quad in Southern California, it was 45 minutes away from where I'm staying now, as opposed to six and a
Okay.
half hours away north, as I mentioned. And that was the
Much
only
better.
quad. Wolf's Den had the only quad in America with no walls, and you could run full speed, get the tag, and just jump out of the quad and be fine. Whereas
Okay.
whereas Movementum, with Nyx, with Dexterity, they all have walls. Apex Moon does not have walls, but there are in the backyard. So there's like trees and shrubberies and stuff like that. So you have to watch yourself. But yeah, at Movementum, you got to watch out for those walls. So you got to slow down. You can't go too fast around a corner, or else you're gonna hit a wall, or use it and be like, oh, that's an out. You're automatically tagged. I'm sorry. It's like, well, shit. So
That's what happened during the December comp for Team Dexter twice in a match. I think he scored evasions or something, and every time he was going like above the sisters, he was using the wall, and so we had to, give the tag, and twice in the same match, I was like, oh please, no, like stop it, because I was
yeah,
feeling bad for him, because I was like, that should have been an evasion, but you used the wall, so it's not part of the quad. Yeah, that's the rules. But anyway,
exactly. So that's another thing that's going to be like a little hindering because they might go so fast because they've been training at the Knicks quad, and the momentum walls are just like a little off this way. It's like, oh, that wall wasn't there when I was training. It's like, oh, well, you got to adjust.
yep, yep. Do you think it's gonna be tricky for you to adjust to these walls during the competition, or it's gonna be all right?
I don't think it's going to be tricky at all. I was just up there last month training. I trained there 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday evening, and I was there. I was just getting used to the lay of the land, just, like back again, training again. And the last time I was on a quad before that was probably at Pennsylvania in like somewhere in August or July. And then before that was in France, those quads.
Wow.
I don't think it's going to be too much of an adjustment for me because I've been training on the quads for so long, and my mental memory is pretty on point with like knowing where things are.
So you said that you competed into smaller competitions at the Momentum Gym as well in the past few years. What about the rest of the team? Did they have any kind of experience as well on the quad, or no?
This four-man crew has not had quad experience since 2022, and that was Emick and
Okay.
Ian. Emick competed with us on Olo for the 2022. He also competed 2021 and 2020, so he's got 3 years of experience. But it's been so far since then, he can only look at some footage and just regain himself because he's so far away from a quad. Same with Ian, and Gatlin's never been on a quad before, so this weekend will be his
Yeah.
first time on.
Okay. Well, then we wish him good luck. If you guys have any question for Fernando, that's right now. If not, we're gonna move to our next guest, and yeah, hopefully it will be all right this weekend for you, and you're gonna have fun. And yeah, I'm excited to see you back on the quad, all of you guys. But yeah, thank you a lot, and see you this weekend. Bye.
Am I going to see you actually in person this weekend?
No. I'm not gonna be there physically. I'm only gonna come for the final, but I'm gonna be watching you. From
That's what I
my
thought.
bedroom.
Okay.
So, any athletes who have type 1 diabetes that competed in World Chase Tag? Someone is asking that question. Do you have any idea about that?
I know who that is. That's Gabe. He's on Vanguard. He's at the Momentum Quad.
Okay. So,
Hey,
do you have
Gabe. I
anything to
don't
say
know.
to the Vanguard team?
Oh man. Well, I actually trained with them when I was up there last month with a few of them, and they're pretty squirrely, scrappy guys. I'm excited to actually compete with them instead of just training with them, and go a little bit more than 50, 60, 70% with them instead of training now to go to 80, 90, 100% now competing. So it's gonna be a lot of fun with those guys.
Okay.
They've got home field advantage.
I'm excited to see them play. So yeah, anyway, thank you for coming. See you this weekend. I mean, once again, not physically, but I'm gonna watch you. And let's move on to our next guest. Is it possible to bring Hunter from Vanguard? And guys, we're gonna have Hunter. Then Tempest. Of Apex, and I'm super excited about Apex. How are you, Hunter?
I'm doing great. My headphones just died, so I don't know if you could hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hope you're. Oh, I can hear myself in a. Like there's some kind of reverb. If you can lower the volume of your phone just a little bit, will you be able to hear me? If you do that, just to make sure we're not gonna have any echo or something. Anyway, look, I might sound a little bit bitter saying this, but I don't like people that much in life, okay? I feel like most people are kind of taking and not giving any energy back to people. So I usually prefer to focus my energy on something else. But, and I'm saying this for you and Tempest, etc., you're part of the people that, I don't know, I feel like you're genuinely giving good vibes, and I was super happy to meet you this in December, and I love your passion about the sport, and I'm super excited to have you back on the competition. So yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. Pretty much, that's what I'm trying to tell you with my broken English. Anyway, Vanguard, what happened to Hotshot? How did you end up in that team? Where is this team coming from? Like, give us a little bit of a
I mean,
context.
I'm very happy. Shout out to Derek and Jason and Rio and Gabe and Zephyr. I mean, they brought me onto their team because as far as this season of World Chase Tag, I didn't believe Hotshot had like a chance to compete or even come together. I just knew that after that December comp, we kind of just split. I mean, we were already a little bit fragile, and then we kind of just went in separate directions.
Okay.
No bad blood, obviously, not at all. But I mean, if we're gonna blame, I mean, if it's not a bad blood thing, it's more of a poor management team. The captain of that team was just didn't have his head on right and just let the team go. So that's totally on him. But I'm really glad that I got picked up on Vanguard. I'm very grateful to Jason and Derek are kind of like the core of the team, and
Okay.
I don't want to steal from them or take anything from them. But something that really drew me to them was their passion for World Chase Tag, and
Makes sense.
specifically Derek. I see the spirit that I had or still have for just competing and the desire to compete and just grow in the sport. That is something that is at the core of Vanguard. And so it was almost like an easy decision where I'm like, these are the people that I relate to. This is the core that I have. And so it was a very easy transition. And I'm just so excited to see what their hard work, because they get to train together. I've been down here in dad life, so
Yeah.
I haven't been
Oh,
able to.
well, congratulations. That's still a lovely
Thank
thing.
you.
But yeah, it's when you're mentioning
Parenthood.
patient, that's one of the thing that I like about you. So I'm not surprised that this is what you like about them as well. I'm just gonna reply quickly to Shay that said that I hate all of you guys. That's not true. I'm just, sometimes I just love my peace and quiet at home. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, coming back to Vanguard. So you're brand new on this team, but I never heard of them before. Is it like the Momentum team, pretty much like the local team from the gym? And are they people that you trained in the past with, or is it just, I don't know, an opportunity that you had been like, oh, I don't have any team anymore. They still have a spot. Let's join these people that I.
Yes, absolutely. We when Hotshot went to their competition last year, that's when we met
Okay.
their team. All the guys that are on Vanguard were there, and so we got to train together. We got to build a little relationship with them, and it was just a good time. It was really fun, and so they train nearly daily, basically daily. They live on that
Okay.
quad, and so they get to train with each other, and meeting them last year was a good time to like get to know who they are, and again, just happy to be with them.
So we have Frank in the chat, and he was saying that Hunter is a gem. So I'm excited to see all of these players, and that's the kind of teams that I love because, the major events, they only happen once in a while, and for people that are just watching Chase Tag, they're not aware sometimes that you have guys coming every single day and training on the quad, and they come out of nowhere and they just destroy everybody. So I hope Vanguard is going to be one of these teams. What are your expectations for this weekend? Do you want to win? We had Schedule 1 saying that they were going to finish second, and Fernando told us probably second, third, or fourth. What about you? How do you feel about this weekend?
I mean, it sounds like there's only our first match of the day. I don't know if this is public. I don't know if I'm spoiling anything, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Shout out
Let's go.
leaking information that the public doesn't know. Um, I'm gonna. Our first match is Vanguard versus Apollo, and I think that is
Okay.
the perfect way to break open the competition. We have Apollo, a team that has been dormant. I mean, if we're gonna give them like some sort of status, I'm gonna say that they've been dormant for a while, and we have Vanguard, who, if we're gonna give them some sort of status, are just complete new, like unheard of, and very like one
Let's go.
competition under their belt. So to come together, I feel like that status kind of matches. And now it's just a matter of who trained harder, who wants it more. And I think that's just the best way to open up the competition. And then, of course, more spoilers, the final between the top teams, Apex and Tempest. We're very excited to go against them. And
This is gonna be
just
good.
we want to show that we can hold our own against some of the best teams in America.
Fernando is saying Apollo versus Vanguard, definitely a great opening match. So we're excited about this. I feel like Chase changed so much in the last couple of years when it comes to strategy and technique, etc. That I don't want to be rude to anybody, but I would be surprised if people that didn't play for a couple of years, even if they're like great athletes, I would be surprised if they win the match against a team that keeps practicing and is quite aware of the current meta and everything that is going on at the moment. But yeah, great opening match, great final match.
It almost balances out whether you have the speed or the brain behind it. Yeah, shout out Meta, not the company, but the
Yeah.
game behind the game.
That's it. That's it. But yeah, okay. So you're telling us that you're gonna end up second or first. That's pretty much it, right?
To do at the end of the day, if you're not first, you're last. Shout out Ricky Bobby.
Okay, fair enough. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I had a question that I completely forgot about. Yeah, if you guys in the chat have any questions right now, just let us know. Yes, coming back to it.
Coming back.
Because all of these people are quite new. If you were talking about, let's say, the visible scene, but you spend a lot of time training with big teams, because when you had the quad at the Wolf Den gym, you had people from Hollywood coming, etc. All of your experience and all of that knowledge, is it something that you were able to give them to make them progress faster, maybe? Or at the moment you feel like you're just, outside of the team and you didn't have much time to train with them?
That's a great question. I do feel like that is something that I offer. Not a lot of competition experience, but I do have a lot of just training experience and strategy experience with training with such high level of players. So that is just something that I bring and something that I'm going to offer the team, and try to like share that XP with them so that we can all learn from that. I think I did pick up a lot, and executing is another thing. No, it's one thing to know the secrets, but then it's another thing to actually perform at that high level and maintain your composure. So
I was going to say, that's
a hard thing to teach. But if I can give them that, I feel like one thing I do have very naturally is confidence. So if I can just kind of share my confidence with them, and I already know that they we're in good hands. We got a good thing going. So
I mean, sometimes it's all that matters. I remember during the WCT Academy that happened a couple of months ago, there are players that are super good, but you can tell that in the first couple of matches. So all of these guys were teenagers, between, I think, 13 to 16 or something. But yeah, some of them are very good. And in the first couple of matches, you could tell that the stress was getting into their head. And so they weren't performing that great. But as soon as they start having confidence in what they're doing, the level just increased so fast, and they did such an amazing job. So having someone older with, confidence, I think that could be a game changer.
Is just staying calm and composed and just doing. Because if you're in the middle of a match and you're thinking, that's not where you want to be. You want to get to the point where you don't have to think about what you're doing. Shout out the flow state. Like you just gotta go and do, and if it works, it works. But you just keep moving, keep going.
Yeah, but the fact that they spend a lot of time on that quad, and that's kind of their home quad. So I'm guessing they're going to be in an environment that is quite safe for them, and they know the quad, they know the lights, the walls, like all of these they're aware. Do you think it can give you guys some kind of advantage compared to the other
I
teams?
really think so. Just speaking from experience, when I had my own quad that I was on daily, in fact, it's not a figure of speech. I actually did play with a blindfold sometimes.
Okay.
Like, you just know it so well. You just know the feeling. And so knowing that they are on the quad daily, I know that they're going to be so comfortable. It's going to feel right at home, and it's going to be the perfect preparation for Pennsylvania in July. Like, I am
Okay.
very
Okay.
confident looking at how the competition's going to go. I don't want to answer before you ask, but I'm sure you'll see us in Pennsylvania. I don't see how we will
Okay.
not qualify.
So now I'm gonna ask the next question. Who do you think is going to make it in like for both qualifiers? Who's gonna make it for the finals? And is there any team you're excited to face?
The
At
bigger
least
question,
let's say at least the West Coast.
we all know the answer. Let's see. I'd like to see top three. It's very easy. West Coast. It's Apex Moon. It's Tempest, and it's Vanguard. Not particularly in that order either. I'm just saying. Shout out
Okay.
ambiguity. And for the East Coast qualifier, I would believe. Oh, actually, another spoiler. Are you going to interview the East Coast next week?
Yeah. That's exactly what
Or-
we're gonna do. If you want to send them any message, you-
More
free to do it.
spoilers. My teammate from Hotshot, Isaiah or Zay, he is on Nyx, and wow, I cannot believe the team that Nyx has. I'm saying it right now. Nyx is winning qualifier for East Coast.
Okay.
They're beating the hamburgers out of Dexterity Depots. I'm very excited to see like what goes down there. So I can easily see like Dexterity and Nyx topping East Coast. Oh, and Nimbus, obvious Nimbus. There, top three West Coast, top three East Coast. We're gonna come together in July, and it's gonna be the greatest showing of America's chase tag history.
Which coast is the best? Is it the East Coast or the West Coast?
It's got to be the West Coast. It doesn't. There's no question. We're a little bit underrepresented over here, but
Fair enough.
West Coast all the way.
So yeah, I was going to ask because you told us about your partner in Hotshot going to play for the Knicks team, which means that one of the teams that isn't going to play is obviously Hollywood. We had Kyle Soderman on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He didn't share any information about the Hollywood roster, and it seems that you're giving us a lot of leaks. So do you have any information about the Hollywood roster?
He did share. Like I saw Messi and LeBron. Like
Yeah, no,
we
yeah,
were talking
okay,
about
that
the
roster.
other athletes coming in from other sports. So yeah, I love that. I love that Hollywood's new team looks like super strong from every corner of the world. Shout out Unity.
Okay, so you're not giving us anything. That's what you're telling me.
Whether I know or I don't know, I cannot say.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming, Hunter. I hope you guys are going to be there for the finals, because for the finals I will be there as well, like physically in America, and hopefully we're going to be able to do that in the same room. That would be lovely. I love your passion about the sport. I love how much you care, and I'm super happy to see you back. So yeah. Oh, okay. Do I still have your son? I was going to say, is there anything you would like to say before leaving? But I'm not sure if I can hear you properly. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. So hopefully no. If okay, they have some kind of issues. Okay. Well, if you want to say anything to the other teams, feel free
Gonna
to send
say
it in the
shout out
chat or something.
nonverbal.
Shut up, nonverbal. We got you, man. Okay. So. Okay. So thank you for coming, and let's move on to the next guest. And hopefully see you for the finals. You know, top 3. Bye. Guys, once again, feel free to ask any questions. You would like to see Hunter versus Hunter. I would love to see that as well. And it might happen this weekend. We will see. So while we're talking about Hunter, I'm guessing you were referencing Hunter Peyton Mendoza. So we have Nicodemus from Tempest with us right now, and there you go. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Lovely shirt, lovely mustache. Always, you guys always have like some
thank you.
very cool, some style. You know, you always bring the style element to the room. So yeah. Okay. By the way, guys, I'm sorry. I'm receiving some messages. Rob from Apex will be the next one, and our last guest. Anyway, we haven't seen you since Pan Am's, back when Kai Baldwin was still playing with you guys. How, like, I don't know. Have you been training? Is Chase Tag still a huge part in your life? How is the team going? Can you give us some news?
Oh yeah, 100%. After Pan Am's, I've pretty much competed like at the local comps ever since then. Last
Okay.
year, I took like third for like 5 of the comps, and then second in one, and then I competed with Hotshot. So like, I've been, on the quad a lot.
Okay.
Hunter has been on the quad a lot too. Joe
Yeah.
did 3 competitions last year. So like
Oh,
us 3,
okay.
we're still on it. We just haven't been on any of the big things. Sean did a couple competitions too. So
Okay.
we've been still working, keeping in chase tag. That for me is my number one. It's like chase tag, and then my
That's good
cats,
to know.
and then sleeping probably in that
That's
order.
a good order. Maybe at some point you need to
Yeah.
remember to eat and drink as well. That's important. But
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
was not
yeah,
aware of
of
this.
course.
I was not aware of you guys. I mean, I saw Hunter playing for Dexterity at the December comp,
Mm.
and I saw a couple of stories where you were playing, but I didn't know for Sean and Joe. So it's nice to hear. If we can bring the roster of the new Tempest teams, because you had some interesting surprises when we showed your roster to everybody. Some people on the chat went crazy about Mr. Brian Orozco. They were
Brian
like,
Orozco,
"Oh,
yeah.
he's a parkour legend, etc." For me, as an uneducated French man, I didn't know who that man was. Can you tell us something about Brian and Scott and how they did end up in the team, etc.?
Of course. We'll start with Brian because I know some folks are pretty excited. He's like super OG American parkour athlete. He was on like
Okay.
Jump City Seattle, which was like a parkour TV show. He was on the Tempest team like way back in the day. He was the manager for the Tempest that was next to LAX. So like he
Okay.
knows a thing or two about parkour. But the
Okay.
main reason why, like, I knew that I had to pick him up for the team is he stopped training for a while and then just decided on a whim he was going to compete at one of the SPL qualifiers in speed, and he took second in speed and he took first in skill without having trained. Just like he can do it. So of anybody to have the ability to just jump in, it was him. Plus he lives up in NorCal. So it was a no-brainer for me. And then the fact that he used to be on Tempest team like way back in the day, it was a no-brainer. And then Scott, he's Ninja Warrior, and he has like a Ninja Warrior parkour gym of his own. But he takes
Okay.
classes at Tempest. He's super interested in like speed work. He's got an amazing work ethic, and he actually did. not compete, but like he went to the Wolf's Den quad, so he's got some quad
Okay.
experience. And so it was actually at one of the like West Coast speed competitions. Myself, Hunter, and Scott were all there. And I was like, yeah, I got to fill up the roster. I need like one extra person. And then I look over at Scott and I was like, oh, the one extra person is right there,
There
obviously.
you go.
So, yeah, he doesn't have as much quad experience as the rest of the team, but he definitely has some. He's worked on like plenty of the moves. Like he's had his Ludi dive, he's had his ghost when the quad was
Okay.
there. So, and plus he's really fast. So I think that the day leading up to it, he's going to reacclimate well, and you won't even know that he hasn't competed yet.
Cause you so Tempest never had a quad like your own quad, but I remember you telling us on a
No.
previous podcast we did back in the days that you guys were spending a lot of times working on threads and other things like this. Are you still doing that kind of training, and are these new players also doing this?
Yeah, so I kind of like gave Scott what he should be working on, like the heights of the threads, the size of the threads, and then of course he'd come in for like speed training. So that's mainly what we've been working on is like speed parkour and track days.
Okay.
Just because the faster you can be and the more just overall athletic you are, it's going to make things a lot easier. And then if you know how to get through a small window, like you're set.
Yeah.
Things like strategy and meta, it helps a lot to have the quad, but you can kind of work on that at the open gym before the event. And so you can
Okay.
just kind of like plug and play. But if you know you're really fast and you know you can maneuver, then I think it's easier to do that after.
Okay. Okay. How much time is the open gym gonna last? Is it like one, two,
It's
three,
like an
four
hour and a
hours?
half.
Okay.
It's like an hour and a
Well,
half.
so
The first hour
you have to be
is
a
going to
crash
be
course in chase tag, pretty much.
yeah, first hour is going to be taking Brian and Scott and like crash course and chase tag, and then being like, Joe, you need to work on this. Hunter, you need to work on this. Last 30 minutes, couple light matches, and then we're ready. We're good.
I saw some video of Joe building a quad in his garden, I would assume, only made of wood and stuff. Is he still building
Yeah.
that quad? Do you have a full quad now, or is it just one part of it?
No, it's just the cube, but the secret Joe cube, no one even knows the real location of
Oh,
it. Could be his backyard, could be another backyard, could be just a farm,
his
but
bedroom,
we
we
know
don't
it's
know.
there. It could be in his bedroom, yeah. But I know he's been training a lot of speed, and he trains route like matches with his dog at the cube. Like if you can evade like a dog, then a human, easy, no
Yeah,
problem.
easy, easy. We have a French equivalent of this. We have a thing called forest tag. I don't know if you heard of it. It's
Yeah,
a
I've seen
bunch
them
of
on
kids and parents.
Instagram.
So maybe at some point we should do the Tempest versus Forest Tag match in the wood, like everybody
Oh,
together in the same
definitely.
place. And let's do that.
I'm so
And
down.
dogs might be allowed. We
Yeah,
will see about that.
we have to have three teams. We
So
have Tempest, Forest Tag, and then the dogs team.
and the Dodge team. Okay, who's gonna be the captain of the Dodge team? Do you have a dog?
It's got to be Joe's dog.
Okay. So so last time we did that podcast, it was before Panams, and I remember at some point we talked about Melee, which is a video game, or maybe it was Brawl, but it was one of the Super
Mhm.
Smash games. In the Chase Tag
Yeah.
team now, we have someone that is called Turn Down for Walt. Shout out to Walt, by the way, if you're here. And he's actually a very big commentator in the scene. And so thinking about this, I was like, at some point, we need to organize a tournament with Chase Tag athletes and Walt as well, and we should all play Brawl together. Should we do this to the inside of the Tempest gym?
Oh, I mean, that would be pretty cool. We have like a projector on like the headquarters side, so we could project it on the whole wall. It'd be pretty sick. So you just let us know. We'll see what we can do.
Hey, let's do that. Next time I'm coming to America, we should do that. Coming back to the
Yeah.
competition. Coming back to the competition, a lot of teams are afraid of Apex, obviously, because of all
Of
of their
course.
history. But when it comes to the top three, we had a couple of people saying that it might be Vanguard and you. Schedule one are also saying they're going to qualify. how are you feeling about this competition? Do you think you're gonna make it, in the top 3, obviously, or is it going to be tricky because some of these new teams can be scary?
I'm always confident. I'm thinking Tempest number 1, Apex number 2, Vanguard number 3. I was
Okay, that's
listening,
good.
I was watching and hearing folks say like, "Oh no, we'll probably get 2, probably get 3." Nah, if you're not trying to get to number 1, then what you doing?
There
But I
you go.
think like
That's the
not
mindset.
to write anyone out because like the way you train and the way you compete is always different, and
Mhm.
the young guns always have that driving force. So I'm not underestimating anybody, but I'm always going for number 1.
Okay,
Especially to beat
okay,
Apex too. That was kind of like our motto.
that's good. I mean, their roster changed a lot, and they're bringing some new players. Obviously, any new player from Apex can be a threat, but I feel like you have a pretty solid roster, and you have also one of the most entertaining team to watch, like Hunter and his craziness, Joe and his crazy dives. Like all of you guys have something special, and I'm quite excited to see you back. We'll see. So Tempest for number 1. That's what I heard.
Yeah, for number 1.
Um, you guys have 7 player in your roster. I don't know if you want to share this or not, but do you already know who are the 6 player that will be competing this weekend? Is it like
Yeah.
okay? Would you like to share that or
Um,
not?
Yeah, definitely. So at this competition, it's going to be myself, Joe, Hunter, Brian, and Scott. Sean and
Okay,
Brett are going to be back in LA helping work
okay.
at the Kings of Concrete competition. And so
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
when we make it to finals, Sean and Brett will most likely be on the team. And I think Brian won't make it to that one.
Okay. 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 Well, I'm excited to see that. In the chat, if you have any questions for... Oh, so Shay, sorry, I missed your question. Shay did ask if we are getting a new Flying Dutchman. I don't know if you know what is Flying Dutchman. That's the
Oh,
jump from Joe where he goes like through the tilted cube, if I'm quite correct.
yeah. So the Flying Dutchman, you have to go from the sisters all the way through the cube. If you go from the floor, we call that a shipwreck, but folks have been
Okay.
doing that for a while. But if you're coming down sisters and you just shoot all the way through, that's a Flying Dutchman.
Okay. Any
And
new
then
moves incoming?
we've had some ideas and played around with some, but without the quad, we haven't really been able to like put it to practice.
Okay.
So it's really just kind of locking in the moves we already have done. Because Joe's gotten a Flying Dutchman at like every like mini comp that like doesn't matter. So the Flying Dutchman isn't a move, and yet Joe's gotten it like 6 or 7 times. So we need Joe to hit a Dutchman for the live.
There you
That's what
go.
I want.
We're
That's
gonna be
one of my
ready for
goals.
it. We need to have some kind of graphics saying like the Flying Dutchman and some brand
Yeah,
new
that's what we
animation.
need.
Okay. Oh yeah. So Quatok is saying that he would love to have a tutorial from Joe on how to make it safely. But I was going to ask. I remember you guys doing a couple of tutorials at some point. Are you planning
Mhm.
on releasing some new tutorials in the future, or was it just a one-shot thing?
It depends. The last one I did was the ghost tutorial for Halloween last year, and I've kind of like sat with we might do more depending on how we do with this competition. We might leave it at that because I feel like the ghost was so meta breaking that it was like
Hmm.
you kind of need to have it to like progress in the sport, and I thought that was a good one. And then plus all the other moves that I can think of are like kind of silly. Like there's other ones you can do goat, reverse goat. Um, what else? You can do Looty dive, things like that. There's plenty of things we could do, but I don't know if I will do them. But if a lot of
Okay.
people ask, then why not? And then to answer the question on how to do a Dutchman safely, you don't. That's all just strength of heart,
That's
strength of
an
courage, and you just go for it.
There you go. Did you hear Quatok? That's how you need to do it. That's all. The Word Chase Tag official account is saying that the tutorials were amazing. So there you go.
Thank you.
Hi to the Word Chase Tag team, by the way. Anyway, so well, do you have anything else you would like to add or say to the other teams?
Um, Yeah, we're we're ready. We hope to be the best in the West. We're gonna be walking in like cowboys with that mindset. So if you guys aren't wanting to be the best
Love
in the
it.
West, prepare. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be so much fun. Um, Good luck to everyone, and we're gonna be excited.
Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you in the finals. So
Thank
yeah,
you for having me.
bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, so I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, everybody, and I'm sorry as well for our next guest because I know you've been waiting for almost an hour, no, an hour now. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Rob Schill with us tonight. Hey, there you go. How are you? Um, oh, I cannot
Can you
hear
hear
you
me?
yet. Oh, yeah, yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm super happy to have you here. 3 times U.S. champion, world champion, very rarely on interviews. So how are you?
Doing great. I'm out in California right now, or in San Francisco, so getting acclimated. I'm ready. It'll be fun.
Okay, okay. I don't even know where to start when it comes to Apex. I don't know if we're talking about WCT 5 and 6, like the whole seasons. I feel like you guys were without a doubt the best team, pretty much dominating every single tournament. Sometimes you weren't even giving a single evasion or just one when Amos was playing on the quad, which shouldn't count. And yet, every single time I'm talking about Apex, I feel like people keep saying that they're gonna beat you in some kind of way. So my first question, and I don't know if you have the answer, are you the most underrated team in Chase Stack?
I don't know if underrated is the right way to put it. I feel like we have a lot of movers who are doing different types of like speed courses, and we have a lot of different branches of types of movement that we're focusing on. Chase tag is like one of those pillars, and so I think
Okay.
like the diversity is one of the things that like is underlooked within a lot of the community. um I don't even know if that's the right way to put it, but I think that, yeah, I think we'll be in a good spot. We're all pretty confident in the speed courses. We're all confident in general movement. So I'm
Mm,
excited to see how everything comes together. We do have some new players. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, overall should be a good year.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there's so many huge names that are coming from the Apex team. Like I don't know, Saith, Jason, Michael, Olaf, Damien. I'm probably forgetting a lot of people. You, Bear, etc. So I'm like every time there's a new player in the Apex team, I'm not worried about if they're gonna do good or not. But I'm wondering, do you have some kind of secret lab where you're preparing these new athletes every single year? Where do you find all of these crazy talented people?
Uh, Mostly in our community. We're this
Okay.
year we're really just trying to be a little bit more grassroots, trying to just really kind of have like a reset year with like how we're approaching competition. I'm really excited with how the like qualifiers and things like that are starting to become like a lot more grassroots in terms of like we're
Yeah.
now shifting more towards community organization, and then like it's
Yeah.
like going to be this like building up process.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that this year. Our I guess I'd say like to your question, our like training grounds is like the quad in the backyard, and that quad is
Okay.
it's pretty sketch. It's like
Okay.
you got dirt, you've got rust, you've got depending on the time of day, you got really vicious light kind of like always coming down at the
In your
if
face.
you're
Okay.
chasing, you're basically like running into the sunlight. So I think the best thing that we have, and it's like the thing that gives us the biggest advantage, is when we get to any other quad, it's like this
Mm,
huge relief of like I don't have to think about grip, I don't have to think about lighting conditions, or um is there going to be a random spot I step and mud's going to shoot up into my face while I'm running, and then now I have to realize that my shoes are wet while I'm running. Um, a lot of like
Damn.
strategies have to kind of change in the backyard. So you're like you can't really do tigers that well, or you can't really like
Okay.
climb the bars that well. There's a lot of like slipping points. You lose your ability to like quickly adjust because you'll adjust and then like a slip will happen and then they're out. So the challenges are different when we're training, and so when it comes to going to the quad, like on competition days or like this weekend, it's just it's I think it's the sense of relief that gives us one of the biggest
Mm.
advantages for competition, because then it's not this isolated spot that's like, all right, I'm now really stressed out because I'm competing, but it's more like, oh, cool, I'm actually a little bit more at ease because of the quality of the conditions.
Okay. So you're pretty much training in hard mode, and competition is the easy mode for you.
Per
Uh,
se, yeah.
okay.
You
But
got
yeah,
you
when
got
I
the
was
whole mental factor of competition.
yeah, I will. Yeah, makes sense. But so to my understanding, a lot of people that are competing in your team are people that you've been training for a couple of years, which means that they're probably quite comfortable with competitions, right?
Mhm. Yeah, everyone on our
So,
team is familiar with competition minus one. Ian Monahan, he's one of our newer guys. So this will be his first time stepping into the competition side, a little bit more fresh. So that will be one of our newer guys. Everyone else has been on a competition, has been on the quad. Zeke, he's been on all the quads in the US. So he's been a useful person on our team to kind of just help us understand like what differences to expect at the different areas, as well as just metas, things like that. The changing of the meta is
mm.
always it's always happening. You got rolling out there just like blowing up new things, and it's always yeah, it's always interesting.
um, so I had one question about the mental aspect of it, but someone asked AGKS asked if Luti left the team.
Yeah, so after last season, Ludi left the team. He wanted to get a Rise team kind of going and start
Okay.
training up a little bit more in that area. Uh, our team is out in Colorado. He's out in Texas, so training just kind of came to be a little bit difficult. He flew out a bunch to come train um,
Okay.
for the last season, but this season it just made more sense for him to split off. I'm not sure if he was did Rise is Rise a team this year?
No, no, they're not. I was expecting to see them, but they didn't register for this year season. So yeah, we'll see. Because I'm quite sure Carson wanted to play with Rise as well. So if they have
Hmm.
Ludi and him, etc., they could have a like a very solid team. So
They would have a
I'm curious
really
to see.
strong, yeah, foundation team.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see that Rise team. I was wondering when we were talking about the mental aspect of the competition. From all the conversations I had today, it looks like all of the US teams are afraid of you. So everybody's kind of expecting you to win, except Tempest. They said that they were going to take the first spot. But does it brings you some kind of extra pressure having to perform, or is it something that you can use because everybody's afraid of you?
I mean, it's always gonna have that bit of performance where if someone's expecting something from you, it puts pressure on it, but it also does give you a sense of relief to where there is an expectation, so you can, it's easier to divert from that expectation to kind of mess with people more. So there's more footage of us out there, so knowing the things that I've done in the past and knowing the things that I wanted to do in the past, like I still have like movements I haven't been able to do that people haven't provided me opportunities to do on the quad. So I
That's
know
good.
that I'm reactive, and I know that a lot of our team is very reactive, and we have a lot of movements that we're ready to use. It's not like groundbreaking, but it's just I feel like we're able to adjust and be a little bit more unpredictable than you would expect, and people have a sense of like this is what I can expect from them. Um, So I'm excited to see how we can kind of utilize that. Oh yeah, and
Um,
Sliger is out this year. He has a shoulder injury.
oh, okay.
I just
Okay.
saw
I
the
was
message in there.
Yeah, that's good. You're replying perfect. Yeah, I was actually wondering about him because I'm gonna make myself some enemies now. But in Europe, a lot of people are saying that Arun is the best chaser ever. Even though I'm French and European, I feel like the best chaser, no contest possible, is Sliger in my opinion. And so it was surprising not to see him on the roster. So I was curious about this. By the way, while we're talking about Sliger, I don't know if you were there during the interview this year for WCT6 at Words. The Sliger interview is probably the best interview I've ever heard in the Chase Hack history. I knew they were not going to use it in the TV show if I was not the one doing the editing. But if anybody from the World Chase that team is looking at us right now, please release that interview. It's pure gold. It's hilarious. I'm gonna start a hashtag that is called "Release the Sliger Cut" because I really want to see that interview at some point. Were
Sliger
you in
cut.
the room?
It's
Were
funny.
you in the room during the interview?
I was in the room. I could like see it through the doorway. So it was pretty hysterical to see.
Okay,
I
when
don't know
you
if you
guys
want
are
me to
coming
give
for
tidbits of it.
I don't know, I don't know, but it's not like I mean it's kind of family friendly, but not really. But anyway, it's hilarious. My question is, when
It's
you're
like
coming to these interviews, are you like purposefully making jokes? Are you coming with a plan, being like, oh, we're gonna mess with the interviewer? I don't know. Is it part of the Apex culture?
in the first years, it was definitely like a lot being like as silly as possible. Amos
Okay.
was pretty big on the direction of like, let's not give them the information they want because they're trying to like pull information for other teams and things like that. So we kind of had this like element of being like kind of confused on the questions, but also trying to like not really give too much. Um, I think that like just Apex as a general as a community, we're all pretty comfortable with each other and we like to have fun. So when it comes to like us going to these competitions and it's like these like stressful environments, it's kind of like our coping mechanism to kind of stay relaxed throughout the whole process. And like some of my best memories from the competitions were us messing around in the hallways with all the other teams, getting ready to do these interviews and everyone doing stupid stuff in the hallways, like doing handstand contests. And I don't know, it's just like those are like some of like my favorite memories. And so I think that we'll still have that kind of that heart going into this year and like throughout this whole next season, and it won't change for us, and we'll always be a little silly. I think that finding that balance is important for the sport as well as just like for you guys and pushing these kind of these pieces of content. So finding sustenance in it, I think is really important, but also trying to keep that sense of like playfulness is what will keep me in the sport and keep me moving. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Wait, what? Can
There, I got you now. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was saying at words you didn't play, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Was it intentional? Like, were you trying to take more of a coach position, or were you injured? What happened?
I had torn my quad in
Okay.
that December before, so I was just recovering and I just didn't trust my leg that much. I've also
Okay.
been like recovering from a herniated disc over the last few years. So between like those two injuries, it was my body was just saying like I didn't want to feel like this is my last chance to compete this year.
Mm,
Um, I like to think of it as like what's the long term? What's like how do I plan for like the longevity of the sport? So I thought
mm,
taking back seat was important for myself as well as like setting example for other people of like, hey, you don't this isn't like your do or die. Like you don't have to do it. Like it's going to be around
yeah.
next year. It's going to be around the next year
Yeah.
after that. Injuries, I think, are really important for athletes to like pay attention to, and I think that
Mm,
that's like the one of the big shifts I want to see moving forwards in general parkour and World Chase Tag is like, how do we recognize that injuries are an innate part of the movement, but how do we also like recognize that like recovery is like we
Yeah.
have to like recover and then yeah, just be smart about how we're training.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that because I saw so many athletes that were injured and they kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing, and after the competition they're like, off for 6 months, and I'm like, that's not the best decision. I think it's a lot smarter to do what you're doing. So yeah, I'm glad to hear this pretty much. Um, are you also helping the women team in some kind of, I don't know, training program, strategy? Like, do you have any input on the women team, or are they completely separate and doing their own thing?
They have a lot of autonomy. I'm pretty hands off with like I'm not like instructing them on logistics or things like that, but anything that they
Okay.
request, I'm helping with. They come to all of our team practices. We all train together.
Okay.
We do like sprint practices together. So like everything is together. Um, like this week leading up to the competition, we were a little bit more focused on just like, cool, we have a comp coming up. So I was a little bit more focused on myself, getting myself pre-programmed and focusing in that space. But in general, like we're all together. Um, there's not much of a split between the two groups. So I'm thinking this year we're one unit.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
helping coach. They're working with us. So I'm working. Yeah, it's a team process.
Um, so coming back to the competition, there is one team that is missing, and I feel like we have to talk about it, and that's Hollywood Freerunners. They're not going to be coming because they are world champion. But thinking back about you guys, when you won WCT5, you did come to the US Championship that you won afterwards. Do you think Hollywood are afraid of competing? Is it a strategy from them to hide some moves? What's your view on what they're doing?
I mean, it's smart. I mean, if you don't have to compete, then you don't, I mean, you shouldn't need to. But like,
Okay.
I don't think it's like it's more of a strategy for like they can get more info from everyone, but you also lose out on opportunity to like just get more experience and exposure.
Yeah.
But with the way World Chase Tag works, I think that that's like probably the best route to take for like setting yourself up for success in their position. So I think that that is probably the best idea for them.
Okay. Okay. Let's say you're gonna win the competition this weekend. We're in a theoretical world. I don't know if you're aware, but the team that is going to finish first is going to be able to either pick any team that will reach finals or ban any team that will reach finals from their group. Which team would you like to, get in your group or remove from your group if you finish first this weekend?
I think it would be fun to just like rip that band-aid off right away and just Hollywood versus Apex right off the bat.
They're not going to come at the finals, sadly. So any of the
Well,
other
oh yeah.
teams
But if we get to pick a an opportunity to battle someone or take them on, then I'd rather take on the battle and choose that.
and play against Hollywood. Hey, look, we have to do that for words. Please, word chase tag, put Apex and Hollywood right away in the same group. You guys faced during words. It was like what the third or fourth time you're playing. Do you feel like this time something was different in their team, or was it just
What do you mean
you
this
know
time or
uh,
this time like the last competition?
the like during words? Because until now,
Um,
I always
yeah.
felt like Apex was so much stronger, pretty much. And do you feel like they're
hmm
catching up on you, or not?
I mean, meta is like a huge part of it. Like I always like to think of like chase tag is a little bit more brain than like physical. Like obviously it's physical, but you can let someone kind of like run into you in certain ways. And so if you're smart about your pressure, um, you can become a lot better with just like your choices. And I think Hollywood is now starting to really show that in their gameplay, and especially that shined last year. So I think that like that is like the biggest piece for them is they're starting to like not rely on just like physical capability, but there's a large meta side. And so um yeah, they're a huge team to contend with. They're catching up with everyone. I mean, they're leading the way right now. So yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, you kind of talked about this earlier, but I wanted to finish on a more reflective note. Looking back at all these years competing in chase tag, what what was probably your best memories, or some of your best memories in all of your history?
Um, I think my favorite memory was from Worlds when everyone was yelling pasta moves and just like everyone was in the arena and everyone was chanting pasta moves,
Stop.
and like the ground was like rumbling and like
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just like such an energy in that space. And so that's
Mm.
kind of like this like peak moment in chase tag where I just like I can't top that. I was like, all my friends are around, everyone's chanting. And then like when I was like in the comp and I was like actually like competing, everyone starts chanting like their different teams and people are chanting against each other. And like at one point, I think everyone was like chanting like for Orlando or for Team Fat. And I just was
Yeah.
like, I was like having fun with it. I was like, yes, let's go for this. And like kind of leaning into it. It's just like that sense and like format was just, yeah, untouchable so far.
So you feel like it was more intense during WCT5 with less people, or during WCT6 with a much bigger crowd and arena?
Yeah, you had like the upper part of the arena, like so you have like the arena where everyone's at, and then
Mm.
everyone's around that, and then there's like the upper level. So there was like two audiences surrounding the quad and like two different levels, and so that was just, I think, a very unique space, hard to come by to find an arena that fits something like that. Um, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I remember that tournament quite well, and to be honest, it was the first time I was actually seeing you in real life. Like, playing Chase Hag, I was one of the cameramen back then. And it's like everybody in Europe was like, come on, Americans cannot win, and you just destroyed everybody. And I remember right after the competition, I saw Jason, and I was like, oh, please, next time, could you come injured to the competition? And he was like, I'm actually injured. And I was like, what? How? How did you win?
The old
Anyway,
lumbar check,
um, thank
the
you for coming.
classic back smack in the on the quad.
The classic. Oh yeah, you kind of hurt yourself in was it the semifinals or the finals with your
Oh yeah,
at the top?
I hit my shin.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
like
it.
split my shin open in the finals.
Are you wearing shin guards now?
Yeah. Uh, Funny enough, I had knee pads on for that comp or that exact run. My knee pads kept sliding down to where my shins were, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna take them off." And I took off my shin pads or my knee pads that became shin pads, and then I shinned it. And I should have just kept my knee pads on my knee
Oh my
or
god.
my knee pads on my shin. So yeah, I'm all
Yeah,
for shin pads.
yeah. Well, there are a lot of conversations in the chase tag communities about like what should be allowed or not. But I'm quite sure everybody agrees on the fact that shin guards are good. Yes, I do remember Matthew's shoes very well. I took it in the face. Thank you for reminding me that sad moment. And the Monkey Chaser is saying your call is arguably one of the most famous gladiatorial venues in the world. I don't know if I'm butchering English. If so, I am sorry. And all of the top boxers and WWE guys have played there at some point in their career. So yeah, that was quite cool to have Chase Tag as part of that history. Um, yeah, I was going to say thank you for coming once again. I hope I'm going to see you in finals. And I'm excited to see you play this weekend. I wish you guys the best of luck. And there's just one thing that I would like to come back to. That was from the beginning of the interview. You said that Chase Tag now is kind of shifting the way they're organizing competitions, and that's a good thing. And I agree. In France, it's been a while that we believe that it's better to start from the gyms and build the whole culture from, like young athletes, local gyms, etc., and then bring these people in bigger venues and events. So I completely agree with this. I know in the past, Apex had some tensions with some of the WCT members, but you are always welcome to come here if you want to talk about anything in the future, and all of you guys are always welcome. Thank you for coming. Is there anything else you would like to add to the other teams, or I don't know, the people watching?
Yeah, let's have a fun season. Let's get this going. I'm excited again, grassroots. Let's really get this ball rolling and think about the longevity of the sport.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. Guys, just a reminder, this weekend, Saturday, we're going to have the first ever US qualifiers, with the West Coast qualifiers coming first. And then the week after that competition, it's going to be the East Coast qualifiers. You're going to be able to watch all of this on YouTube, on the World Chase Tag channel. And there are the times, if you want to follow the competition, 5 teams will be there. All of them were here tonight. And next week, same time, same place, we're gonna bring all of the team members from the teams that will be competing on the East Coast qualifiers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the people that came here tonight. And yeah, have a lovely evening or day or whatever you're having, depending on where you are right now. Bye.
She a 10 and the skin so smooth. Listen to the beans and it only fit two. See it through the lens, everything brand new.